right, folks, greetings. This is Body-Culinary, sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. So I'm just getting in from the market. So as some of you may or may not know, one of my favorite days of the week is Saturday, which is market day. And today market day is doing, it's looking a whole lot different. So normally I ride my bike over. Today was one of those days where I got a flat en route to on my way to the market. So I had to double back. So I know that means I'll have to be on foot lugging a lot of things, which is okay because we make sure that we have functional fitness, right? So that we're able to perform when we need to. So some of these things, there are many things that we may have a tendency to take for granted. In the States, we're chilling, eating our popcorn, we have access to Netflix, we have unlimited Wi-Fi. There are many, many things that we take for granted. And one of them being able to walk and carry, all of your bags in the market. It may seem like such a small thing, but I'm here to tell you functional fitness is not, as well as the whole mentality of growing food. So there are many people that will say, "Oh, I wish I could grow food. I wish, I was where you are, right?" And I'm here to tell you, it's not just about your location. There's a lot that we take for granted. So in the midst of this whole situation going, I've noticed a dwindling down of the market. Now, when you go into other countries, they have a tendency to really take religious holidays very seriously. In addition to what's going on, when I rode my bike yesterday and I looked online, I know there's a curfew, right? So I went out after the curfew had ended and everything was eerily shut. When I tell you everything was shut, nothing was open. So it was very eerie to be on the streets where there's nobody. Now, the only folks that I saw out were the soldiers and police with, the big, artillery. Quite a few of them. And if you don't have a destination, that's no bueno. You are going to be, you're going to have a situation if you don't have a definite destination that you're going to. So I had to turn my bike around after riding to another town and ride my bicycle all the way home. So that being said, I did manage to get some things. I'm working on the garden, revamping the garden right now. There's definitely a whole new meaning not more meaning, but more urgency. More urgency around functional fitness and growing some food no matter where you are. Many folks, we complain. We look to the government, we look to everyone else. But I'm here to tell you, it's an era. It's a time for discernment. Anything you hear coming from any source, whether it's your favorite leader, minister, politician, it is a time, even health leader. It is a time to run everything through your innate onboard common sense computer, through your discernment computer. As well, it is a time to be able to perform, not just to have like a pumped up looking bicep, but you can't pick up 2 big pails of water. You can't carry your groceries. So there's definitely a time for functional fitness, as well as this simple natural lifestyle really being critical to improving your immune system. So some of the reports that I've heard coming in from the States are not looking very well. That's even an understatement. It's even astronomical. It's almost like, is it real that these numbers of people are expiring? And so I've heard confirmation that it is. So also I've heard several different things, in particular about the chocolate population of the diaspora taking some of the biggest hit. And a lot of it is because of our compromised immune system from a lot of our habits, right? So, that's in a nutshell. There's a lot of information that's out there about our immune system, about fruits and vegetables, about smoking, about alcohol. And so if we're not activating what we know to do, then that's really going to be, it's actually on us. It's not like it's coming. We're actually a bit late with activating a lot of the things that we know to do. So that being said, I did manage to get some things. There's not as much variety as the market. But for me, I'm like, that's fine because I kick in the ways of Grandma Lou, the ways of the mothers, and the ways of the grandmothers. And so that to me means make $1 out of 15 cents. That means being extremely creative with the things that are placed before me in terms of the items. I already am comfortable with knowing I can eat from whatever is grown locally, knowing that the flavor is going to be better, the price is going to be better, You know, I can just work with anything that's around me. So it was looking like I wasn't even going to find some callaloo, but I did manage to find some callaloo today. So being that callaloo is it can be grown very easily depending on where you are. And because it's local, it's a lot less expensive than buying a kale or something else. With kale, I might spend like let's say maybe $7 or $8 when this would be $1.50. And that's from where I am, that would be half that if I wanted to make that into US prices. So I just happened to find one person with some callaloo. So I got two great big old bunches of this, and then preserving it is going to be, or at least stretching it out is going to be a whole nother story. So one one guy even gave me like $1 off because I have my own bags, right? So all of these things that we've known to do that we're not activating, you know, the residuals are kicking in. So that's two bunches of callaloo, right? There's one farmer. I wasn't sure I was going to see him today, but he usually has a lot more variety. So it's a lot less variety that he had today. I did manage to get, so these are my own bags. And these bags can really help to stretch the life of your produce. I did make a little kit, if you will. Some of the things that people have been asking me about. If you go to bodyculinary.com, I put some links for the produce bags that can really lengthen and stretch the life of your produce, as well as some growing kits. And the workshop for starting your own garden, even if you're in an apartment, right, that's being edited. So this is bok choy, and I think I was able to get this for like maybe $1.25 US. This is probably about $1.50 US for all of this callaloo over here. And so again, it was really nice to have my own bag so that I can, you know, sometimes it may be a little annoying to people, and they were really on point with the social distancing today. So all the olgers, all those what's the word? The officials there with their, their big artillery pieces are at the market today. So it's a whole nother vibe. So I was able to get all of this cilantro, right? And again, this is the supplement. A lot of my cilantro is going to seed right now, and I want to collect those seeds and put them in the ground. So this is also to say that, if you and some other people are growing, you can rotate things between each other. So this is the cilantro. All of this was for $1. This will supplement. It's actually a good amount for $1. And so I'll be very creative with using this, because this is definitely not a time to be wasting food. Again, we take so much for granted, We take farmers for granted. We take for granted how long it takes to grow something. And again, this is one of the reasons why, even in my fitness practice, working with clients, I encourage people to grow something, even if you're in a city, because it can really help shorten your learning curve when it comes to a respect for the foods that you are consuming, right? As well as wasting and not being so gluttonous, to kind of stop us in our tracks. Greetings. Shamika, what I eat in a day? I think I have some what I eat in a day, but I don't know that they'll turn out like other people's videos. So there's a local variety of spinach. I do have some of this growing out in the yard. And I will take the seeds from these and I can plant these. So I only need a couple of these because I just took all the hot pepper I had and made hot pepper sauce, a live hot pepper sauce. And then this is a local variety of spinach. So this grows very easily in the yard. So I probably got all of this for about, that's a lot, for about $1.50 US. Again, all of this stuff here is local. So maybe like these three local limes were 50 cents. No, not 3, 2, 4, 5. No, I think you were 6 in the bag. 6 for 50 cents, right? So I just want to illustrate that if you're purchasing things that are local, you're going to get the best bargain. And then farmers do all of that work they need to eat, right? So it's very reciprocal. So we got cabbage, that's very inexpensive. And these are all local foods. So again, a good place to invest some time is in educating yourself, so you can do what I call the ways of the mothers and the grandmothers, being able to take one ingredient and do numerous different things with the ingredient. So at the end, you may only have the stems. I can find uses for the stems, certain things I can replant, I can resprout, and I'm not wasting anything. And anything that's left over will go inside the compost. So all of these tomatoes, let's see, how much did I pay for these? I think I might have got these for about $2. Yeah, I got all of these Roma tomatoes for $2 from one farmer. Right, so we're still on protocol over here. So we have so many good habits. If you have good habits, then it's not so much about you having to make the decision over and over and over again to start to eat healthy. If anything, you can keep tweaking, as you go along. So the standard over here at our home is cruelty-free. Cruelty-free first to your own brain, body temple, your organs, so it's a cruelty-free lifestyle. So these are a really good deal. These have beautiful color and smell. I have some of these growing outside. So I have 2 trees that are bearing papaya. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. And with papaya, you can have a little bit of this on it and it's still good. You don't want to eat the papaya when it's not ripe because then it's going to taste chalky. So I got all of these papayas. I got all of those papayas there. They're the nice sizes, all nice size. I got all of those papayas there for $4. So that's actually a really good deal. And so in the food preparation and preparedness workshop, I'm doing different things so you can see different things you can do to have food to travel on the road for when this thing ends and we transition into another phase, but also ways you can stretch your food out. So there's another farmer. Oh, I got a great deal on all of these cucumbers. Some farmers, local farmers, cannot afford to pay for the wax and the spray. So that's good for me because then I don't have to get that. So, I had my big bag. So let's see, I think I might have paid $4 for it. This is a good amount. I would say a truckload, but a good amount of cucumbers. Let's see what else we got. So some celery. So I probably paid, this celery can get very pricey. So celery, this is my own bag. I just planted some celery. So celery doesn't always germinate. The seeds don't always bust that great, but I do have some of this planted outside. And so it's very aromatic. And also celery, all of these foods are medicine, all of them. So I got some local carrots. Those I paid probably like $1.50 for 2 pounds. And I got some local limes, some more local limes. We use a lot of lime here. Limes has many, many different uses for. I have many, many uses for limes. So this is all local produce. So notice I'm not buying a whole bunch of processed stuff. I got local okra. I do have okra growing out in the yard, and I just planted some more. So be mindful that very likely you'll need to supplement your stuff if you don't have stuff ongoing or if you just finished out a harvest. So again, these are great. These are about $1 a pound over these sweet peppers from a farmer. Right, this is all grown locally. Now I got a couple of things that are not. I got one thing that's not grown locally, which was 2 apples. They're not the best quality, but they're fresh, and these are from the States. So apples don't grow nicely here. So count your blessings. You got some good apples where you are. And I did manage to get 1 treat. So certain things, I do see the mangoes on the trees now. So the mangoes are giving, right? And I found 2 really nice dragon fruit. So these look like the white variety. So these are probably the most pricey thing that I got today. So let's say I might have paid about $4. So these can still, for the both of these. So these can still run up really super duper expensive in the States. And semillas. So I got 4 pounds of those. Those are a staple at our house. Semillas sesame. 1 eggplant. So definitely I want to plant this because there's not much of this at the market. So some things that you may take for granted that you see at the market. I did get 1 more bag of sesame. Some things that you may take for granted, until those things are gone. So this is all fresh, whole living food. This is the standard. So it's not, I'm not doing a bunch of tofu, TVP, dried out burgers and patties. If any processing is going on, that's going to happen over here. So let me see, do we have anything else? So I know how to stretch some money. And then this one farmer, he gave me 3 heads of romaine. I got 3 heads of romaine lettuce for $2.50 US. And these are some big, these are some nice, healthy size. So you can really eat and be satiated, right? There's lots of living water, high water content. Again, I have that in my produce bags. And then the other thing, from yet another farmer, I got 2 of these. One is 12, one is 12 libras, and the other, otra son 10. But they say Lima. So one is 13 pounds. The other one is 12 pounds. So I got these for 25 cents US a pound. Right. So one is 12. And so this is all living water, carbohydrates. I'm not worried about the fruit because it's in its original package. So we got 2 of these. And all that papaya. So I would dare say this is a lot. This is a lot of good fresh food. So anything else hiding out my bag? My cycle bag. So I just want y'all to get just an idea when people are asking what I'm eating. And I'm creative because, again, this is the ways of the mothers and the grandmothers. I know what's in my food. I'm not leaving it to chance. Somebody's mood or a bad mood at the market. I have a lot of stuff that is sustainable, that's stretchable, as well as fresh, whole living foods. Well, everything is whole and living with water. There's some things I may need to sprout. But this is a tremendous amount of produce, fiber, and this is for us. This is the lifestyle, right? That we've been living for well over a decade. Well over a decade is whole living foodists over at my house. You know, so I'm not the food police, I'm not the hair police. You'll have to find what works for you. But I feel really good knowing that I don't have to diet, right? I don't have to diet. I don't worry about vitamin pills. But that's me. You have to find what works for you. So this has been going well over, I guess, 11 years. Over 11 years of the living foodist. There's 3 bunches of celery. I got all of these sweet peppers. All right, so this is a good amount of food. A lot of chewing, a lot of water, a lot of fiber. So everything here is supporting my reproductive organs. Everything is supporting. Who's the okra? The okra ran up. So it's supporting my reproductive organs. It's cleansing. It's building. This is all real food. Right? So again, I'm encouraging you to shop locally to get good prices per pound. Now all you got to do is just invest some time, take some time, just like you learn to prepare flesh foods, animal foods. And I'm not demonizing anybody's food choices, right? You can take the time to learn how to implement and reactivate the ways of the grandmothers, right? Take one thing and do numerous different things with it. You can learn how to manipulate the taste and the textures and the flavors with fresh spices and so on. Then you can supplement with your herbal teas. You'll see this morning I was in the yard and I pulled out some cerasee and I showed you the seeds of the cerasee and the flower. Some people from the Caribbean may already be familiar with that, but this is everything I got. So I didn't spend. Is there more food in here? Or is more cucumbers? Yeah, so I'm going to get a nice little bowl to put the papaya in because papaya can be kind of delicate. Or should we put it in a wood bowl? Let's just put it in a wood bowl. Yeah, let's put it in a wood bowl. And I like to arrange my fruit so that the fruit is already attractive. But some fruits are delicate skin. So all of that papaya, look at all that papaya. Fresh papaya for $4. So I'm going to do a lot of different things with this. Papaya. Anything else? Did we leave anything else out? And then we also have a whole mess. Give you 1 second. This is some old bowls that I have. So it's very, very hot here. So I got all of these cucumbers. Right, and again, this farmer didn't have any wax on them, so you'll know the wax when you see it. You scratch the cucumber, so it has wax. We got all these cucumbers, so I just want you to see how much food you can get when you're eating fresh food. So I like to say that each meal is medicine. Each and every meal is medicine. So we'll just look over one time. What are your tips for preserving food until you get around to eating all of that food? Some can go bad. Yes, and I'm in a very hot climate. Like today is supposed to go up to, I think, 105 degrees. So in the workshop that we did on Body-Culinary, if it's not up yet, it might still be being edited. But we did a food preservation and preparedness workshop. And so just keep in mind, this is my lifestyle all year round. And so we don't have any flesh foods in our consumption, no dairy, no animal products. So we can go through all of this. And so every meal is medicine. So there is a video on this page, a video on this channel. By the way, do subscribe to the channel. I put a whole lot of really, hopefully you'll find it useful information. I'm here on beginner gardening, on, for those sister girls with fine, or maybe your sisters or daughters have fine Afro-textured hair that many people may find frustrating. And then also folks dealing with a lot of acne, right? So, and scarring. So there's a plethora of information. Make use of the information on the channel. So do subscribe, share the channel and the videos with someone who can find it helpful. So that being said, there's a video on this channel called Extend the Life of Your Produce. So if you click on that, because I can go on with, when it comes to food and preparation for like hours and hours. We're not going to do that today. But there's a video on this channel, Extend the Life of Your Produce, here on the Body-Culinary YouTube channel. So do check that out. And again, this is today's food haul. So we did have those 2 little apples, over there. Look at all of this food. So this was not, I don't think this is not even like $50. It's not, but it's real food. So I like to give visuals, right? So people can get a comprehension. All of this food, right? That's the power of local. Now, you may not have the same foods available to you, but Mother Nature's going to give you something wherever you are. So this is all fresh food. So you want to learn how to prepare it so you have lots of variety. I do use refrigeration for a time in Central America. I was staying off-grid, and I'm always prepared to live off-grid. So off-grid, you definitely want to have a garden. You definitely want to have some kind of water catchment system, even if you have to recycle gray water. I think yesterday I was talking about a gray water system, so you can recycle water. So these are many things that we take for granted, in the city, right? Usually everything you're paying for, but it's already included inside of your costs. So these are things we may not think of in terms of amenities inside of the city. But a garden, a water catchment system, if you're in a climate where you can get fruit trees, I would encourage people, anything that you eat that has a seed in it, plant it. So you can start to just see how the plants behave, right? You're going to learn something. And it really like turn on your innate intelligence in terms of, it'll make you start like, oh, okay. The banana's only going to grow but so high in the States because of the temperature, right? The temperature where I'm at currently is a year-round growing season. In the States, you'll have to wait to plant until after the last frost, but you can start your seedlings inside the house. So to make you really immediately get in tune with nature, even from moving your plants from this part of the windowsill to that part of the house, I encourage you, everybody can grow something. And then also, right here, I usually have something sprouting. All right, so I have something starting to sprout right here. So the 2 recent workshops that are up, there's a healthy eating, because there's so many men, I don't know where all these men folk came from on the page, but there's a healthy eating for men, plant-based. There are many men folk that are very concerned about becoming very frail, plant-based, right? And so we have different family members. We have men, women, adolescents. Everybody's at a different growth spurt. So usually with men, all of us have our little vanity thing. Many men are concerned about becoming very frail. You can get more than enough nutrition on plant-based consumption. And I've gone all ends of the spectrum, from growing up as a meat eater and a junk food junkie, and old school Afro-American soul food, as well as Bayesian Caribbean soul food, to vegetarian, to vegan, coming out of high school quite for a few years, and then nobody was really doing it. And so then I went to a lot of processed vegetarian food, which had my face, even vegan, had my face looking like the sidewalk. Then to fish and poultry, and then right on back down to vegan, really. But I don't like to focus so much on the labels, more so the results and the behavior, because it's a mindset. And we can have a tendency to ego trip on the labels, and we don't need something else to divide us. You want to go wherever your results are. I'm just sharing my journey, right, which has been going on about 30 years. So greetings, Jacqueline. Love seeing your curtains. Blowing in the wind. You like seeing the curtains blowing in the wind? Yeah. Are you canning all of these things? No, I'm not big on canning. No, I like everything because the food for me, I want the enzymes, I want the life force in the food. Now, what I will do, the closest you will get to canning is pickling something. So certain fermented foods, I'll make what I call my own version, my little Afro kimchi. I'll pickle some okra, so I am going to pickle some okra today. I'll make sauerkraut, and those are things that are good for good probiotics in the system. So I have this thing about thinking like I knew both of my great grandmother talk about them all the time, and my grandma especially. So all three of them were in their 90s. I had one grandma that only lived to her early 60s, and then dramatic difference in their eating pattern and their lifestyle, right? So the three women, the great grandmothers and my grandmother that all lived in their 90s, they were big on, which I say all the time over here, I trust Grandma Lou more than anybody. They ate their own food. They ate their own food. So people would laugh at me in the gym for years. People would think it was too much work. Nope. And so I just give thanks. Not that something still can't happen to me, but I'd rather, I feel better in integrity with taking 110% responsibility for my health. So my practice is to eat my own food. That is the standard. So I make an effort to make sure it's very attractive, that I package it in such a way that it can be portable. That's what I'll send with the different family members or anybody that I'm sharing food with. So I'm big on my own food. I went to culinary school actually to make the food more look prettier for my folks. I would say my mother and my grandma, the Afro-American and also the Caribbean, taught me how to season and flavor food. But I went to learn how to make it more attractive because I was like, our folks would eat poo-poo if you put red sauce on it, unfortunately. So I'm not going to can it. There are some things I will pickle inside of the preparedness and food preservation workshop where I bring folks into the food preparation area with me. I go over different options for preserving food. And not just for, this for emergencies or things that you can put in your to-go bag. So I think it's two parts to the workshop. One part is being edited. The first part of the workshop and preparedness was having things that you can take in an emergency. But even if it's not an emergency, you want food. Many of us that have a busy lifestyle, a lot of times you take your show on the road. So I know for me, I often have some kind of work that I do early in the morning. And when I was traveling with a child, I always have, it seems like a big knapsack or a bag, but I always have food, reading material, water, something to wash my hands, sometimes a neck pillow. Those are things I usually have with me all the time. So I'm just maybe adding a bit more in terms of things that I have stored. And so also to prepare this workshop, I usually have stuff stored all year round. So I'm still able to have whole living, unprocessed foods. I want the food with the water in it. That being said, there's some things that I will sun dry. There's some things that I can dry other ways. But that's, I did do a workshop. So if you're interested in that, you can leave your information at body-culinary.com if you'd like to be sent information. So the two main workshops that are up now is one, healthy eating for men and questions for men. I know I have a son, I have men in my family. It's very important that you don't sit around and wait, for your woman to do all this stuff for you. You set the, whoever it is, male or female, you set the standard for your health, because we are really seeing the residuals of not being proactive when it comes to our health, right? Nobody's coming to save us. And our immune systems have been compromised for a long time due to being lax, some ignorance, we could say, but also there's been a lot of information out for a very, very long time. So it's for us to activate it and find ways to make it a pleasant and sustainable lifestyle. So there are some things you can use a dehydrator for to preserve. I talk about that inside the preservation and preparedness workshop. However, my first preference is the whole living food. I want the water because most of the body is water. And there's a lot of other nuances with the drying, because you can take a dehydrator and make it into an oven and cook the food. So that's not what you want. I want the life force and the energy inside the food. But your palate, that may be transitional for many people, but I found after many years on this as a lifestyle, your palate can change. And I think the more you can shorten your learning curve, the better. If it's enjoyable and sustainable, then it becomes more like easy. You don't have to it has to take years. It doesn't have to take you years to switch over. Actually, with all the information that's out, you can really shorten your learning curve when it comes to, if you so desire, to making this a lifestyle. And I think one of the benefits of eating a cruelty-free, which is the mindset or the approach that I'm taking, cruelty-free, high water content on foods, and any processing that's done, you do the processing yourself, but you know exactly what's in it. It'll entice you and really make a lot of stuff start to make a lot of sense in terms of your appreciation of food, your digestion of food. It is a lifestyle. It's a mentality. It's really a mentality. And it's a mentality, I like to call it peaceful eating, right? So it doesn't require violence, or if any critters or creatures or worms, whatever, it's least harm possible, because it is a mindset. That is much more of a priority. Character, mindset, behavior is more of a priority for me than the label, if that makes sense, and high water content. So you can use different methods of preserving your food depending on where you are and what's available to you. I'm in a year-round growing season, but even so, there's some things that only occur seasonally. So again, so the workshop for healthy eating for men that are interested in living a plant-based, whole living, fresh, unprocessed food. When I say unprocessed, I mean you can still recognize the food as a food, right? It's not a powder. If there's any processing, that's what you're going to do on your own, right? And then there's the preparedness workshop that's coming in two parts. So one is food preservation and preparedness, and one is in case of an emergency. What do you do in an emergency? And even if there's not an emergency, taking your lifestyle quite often on the road. Do I forage? Great information. Oh, from the UK. Greetings, Deborah. Forage, I would say I'm not in an area where I was more out in the bush before. So now I'm not so bush. I'm kind of like in between. So, but even if you have a nice sized jar, you can forage. You can create a little quote unquote permaculture. You put all these fancy names on it, but it's really letting the plants grow in their natural environment. Again, when you put your hands on your own food, the food is talking to you, is giving you information. But many of us are not preparing our own food. So even if I tell you all of this stuff, a lot is not going to make sense because you may not have a frame of reference, because you're not in the habit of making and preparing your own food. For example, I can see differences in the fruits and vegetables. I can taste them depending on the farmer, depending on the season. I can tell sometimes if the plants look a little bit sick. I can taste the difference if it's been composted. So all of this information I'm getting because I'm making and preparing my own food. So there's a lot of things that grandmothers would tell you. Like my grandmother, I said, Grandma, ain't you gonna do this? Ain't you gonna do that? She would just say, no, child. And she got her own little flicking measuring system and a reason why she's done things. But the more and more I'm participating, right? Then I'm like, oh, that's why she did that. That's why she did this. But a lot of times we put it in somebody else's hands. We're so heavily reliant on the school system, the government, religion, everybody to tell us what to do. And I'm here to tell you, you have an innate onboard common sense that shortcuts where you don't need a preacher to tell you, you don't need a minister, an imam, a rabbi, this innate common sense. But it's kind of switched off because that muscle is kind of atrophied because we're not using it. So one of the simple things I'll say all the time, your body is mostly what? Water. Your body is mostly water. Water. Which water is going to be the most beneficial to you? Coming out of a bottle, even though I will use bottled water from time to time. I do have a filter here. I have a filter in my shower. I've had an alkaline filter, not the $3,000 one. But which water is going to be the most beneficial? And intuitively, I would say the water that's coming fresh, whole, and living out of the plants. So if you just marinate on that for a while and just really think about that. I call it like stories, communicating with you, but we're moving at such a pace and we're so distracted by the entertainment and the music and people's talent and their looks that we're not really tuning in. The body is communicating with us. The green pepper is so tiny and cute. Yes, and actually, you know what? I find that a lot of the smaller produce, fruits and vegetables will have a lot more flavor. So again, in the States, we may be used to these gargantuan pieces of fruits and vegetables, but some because they've been picked when they're not ripe. So again, it's all this information that you're not getting because we're not handling our own food. And it's like people think that exercise is a chore, but it's not. It's like, think about the ability to not move, the inability to move. That's a chore. That's going to cost you more. So I invite you to try on like another channel. It's another channel. There's nothing that feels better than being able to do whatever, the body being able to do whatever you want it to do. If it can run, jump, play when you need it to, pain-free, and to have longevity in the body. So again, some unforeseen things can happen, but it's really over here, we make a decision to be 110% responsible for our health. And it's actually a very pleasant lifestyle. It's very pleasant to not have to diet. It's pleasant to enjoy the colors and the aromas. This smells really herby. It smells really, really, I know you can't smell it through the screen. But it's a very pleasant lifestyle. And again, it's peaceful eating. It's peaceful eating. So again, these are, this is what I've gotten on my food haul today from the market. And this is all local. So a lot of the market is gone. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday I went to the market, it was empty. There was no one out. Zero. Usually the market would be empty every day. So that's a decent amount of food, right? And all the stuff, I have all kinds of things that I can sprout and I can grow here. So I'm encouraging you, everybody can grow something. Everybody can cultivate a personal movement practice, right? Where you don't have to go to a gym. I like to say the body is the original gym, and it's totally portable. There's nothing wrong with, if you want to wear makeup or whatever, that's your option. But it's also nothing. It's relaxing, right? Good for our mental health is chocolate women to be able to relax and know that your skin can breathe, and we don't have to spend, $50, $60 a month on makeup, right? That we can allow the skin to breathe, and we can feel comfortable in our skin. We can feel comfortable with our natural textured hair. I dare say it contributes to mental health. Definitely contributes to mental health. Yeah. All right, folks. So that's just our share for today. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free. I invite you to share this practical information with folks that could benefit, that could benefit. A lot of us have many tools that are laying around that we're not using, that we've been gifted with, that we can, again, this is a perfect time to dust those things off and activate them. One of my clients had a whole gardening setup that she had never activated. And then the workshop that's coming up is on starting a garden in your home, because a lot of people think they can't do it, and that's not true. If you want to do something, you can do it, because I started out in an apartment, in the city where it's cold, right? So you can do whatever you want to. So if you want to communicate, or you have questions for me, or you want coaching, consulting, you can hit me up on bodyculinary.com. That being said, create a great day. I'm going to go ahead and put some of this produce away. And I will see you real soon. All right. Create a great day on purpose.